everybody, and welcome to part 2 of the Toy Ventures Epic Toy Trek. This episode is actually something of a marathon that we did on the Sunday. The second day was rather uneventful for us. It was raining. We went from small town to small town, little shops, comic stores. It really didn't find too much, save for one shop in Sarnia, Ontario that's called Joi De Vintage. It was just a fantastically curated shop dedicated to mainly mid-century items. But I did find some really great pop culture, including this Frankenstein poster. That's the Captain Company mail-away Frankenstein. I don't think I've ever seen one in person before, so that was a really nice surprise. And we spent some money in the shop, but we did not buy toys. We bought dishware and that sort of stuff. If you are in Sarnia, that is definitely a place to check out. The sun was shining the next day, and we did manage to find an old-school outdoor flea market in Grand Bend, Ontario. This was such a welcome sight. It's in a beautiful place, and let's go through some of the stuff we saw, and then I'll talk about my pickups. So yeah, that market was just a total blast, and I picked up a couple of things from it. First off, I got these fantastic comics. This is Atlas Comics Morlock 3001 issue 1. Atlas Comics is this weird sideline to Marvel. It was formed by Martin Goodman, the former president of Marvel, and I find these comics bizarre. And to get one in this good shape for $2, I'm in all day. I also picked up this awesome Buck Rogers Whitman comic. Pretty sure I had this as a kid. And look at that cover. That's just an amazing cover. The other thing we picked up is my wife picked up this awesome plastic moose barometer. Can't resist something like this for the deck. However, if anyone knows how to fix a barometer, we'd really, really like your input. So it was Sunday, and we decided that we were going to start to make our way home, but hit every antique mall we could on the way. And that would start with St. Jacobs, Ontario. This is located just north of Kitchener. There is also a farmer's market in this town that I unfortunately discovered is closed on Sunday. There is a toy dealer in there that I really like, but that'll have to wait till another time. This is the St. Jacobs Antique Market. And I found some really neat stuff in here. Check this out. So actually, I was a bit surprised at how much stuff I bought at this antique market because I normally don't buy a lot. I sometimes get a catalog, but there were some really cool toys there. And the first thing I picked up, because I have to, are these black hole Shreddies pencil holders. I always buy them, and I do find them a lot, but if they're a good deal. They're Canadian exclusive for the Black Hole movie, and I might be slightly obsessed with them. So I've done a video on these right here, by the way. The other thing I had to pick up was this Blake 7 Liberator from Corgi Toys. Had it as a kid, flew it backwards like every kid who'd never seen Blake 7. And, I now really appreciate the series. And I know this isn't like the show accurate one. There's a white one, but I had that and it broke. So I was just happy to find a replacement. But the piece de resistance for this trip is this. This is the Corgi Star Trek Enterprise. The card says The Vengeance of Khan. I had this as a kid, and I loved it. I loved Star Trek, especially this summer. I think I was 11 when this came out, and I was so excited about the movie, and I still watch the series all the time. And getting this at the X, I got this at the CNE. It's just a really, really happy memory. And the Enterprise was well loved, well played with. I used it with my Mego figures. And I love that the packaging is wrong. It says The Vengeance of Khan. Now, the seller did have the Klingon ship, but I paid with my heart, not my mind on this one, and I don't know if I got a good deal or not. I just was like, damn, I'm going home with that. Just wanted to mention that I will be at PowerCon and Mego Meet this August 11th to 13th. We are bringing back Mego Meet. It's going to be a blast. We have our own dealers area. There's customs contests. We have freebies. And we're going to have a visit from the man himself, Marty Abrams, the president of Mego. It's going to be an exciting time, and I'm really looking forward to meeting a lot of the folks that I've met online. We then went to check out Market Road Antiques, which is just around the corner, and it is a 25,000 square foot mall. And here's what we saw. After St. Jacobs, we hopped on the road again and made it just in time for the Aberfoyle Antique Market. I've been going to Aberfoyle for 30 years. In fact, my wife and I went there when we were first dating. I love this place, but I usually only come once a year. It is a wonderland of different and unusual things, and it's really a fun way to spend the day. The stuff I've seen at this place is just amazing, and it never disappoints, at least for a spectacle. So let me give you a tour. So my purchases at Aberfoyle included a Mego fonzi in a Canadian box. Now, to preface, I started collecting Mego figures like a couple of years after the company actually filed for bankruptcy. So I've seen many, many Canadian box fonzies, but it's never really been a thing for me to own. It was just like, oh, I'll get to it. And I guess, it was the day. I saw it there and I thought, oh, you know what? That'd be kind of fun to own. Unfortunately, the transaction was the closest thing to conflict I had in the entire vacation. We really had a positive experience, but the guy really thought he knew what he was talking about, and he thought it was much rarer than it was. And, I had to bite my tongue because
Hi there. Is there a project you're working on?
I know more than you.
the outcome was I think I paid $20 more than I really wanted to, and he took $20 less than he wanted to, and we just called it a day. I had this Fonzie as a kid, and I really always was enamored by the packaging, so I'm glad to finally add a Fonzie to my collection. So finally, after all of that, we decided to poke our heads into the Freelton Antique Market. I go to Freelton a lot. It is one of my favorite places, and I had no expectations for me. This was all for my wife, who collects vintage Christmas, and they were having, I think they're still having an event called Christmas in July. And I really didn't expect to find anything. And while I was waiting for her to make her purchases, I went to a booth that had a 25% off sale, and I came up with these beauties, a 1982 and a 1983 J.C. Penney catalog. I collect wish books. That is the foundation that Plaid Stallions, the website, started on. And these were gaps in my collection. I couldn't believe my good fortune. Then I managed to also find in the same booth 2 coloring books. Somebody on Twitter had basically asked me to do coloring book theater again, which is something I used to do on the blog. And it's just because I haven't gotten any coloring books in a while. So it was nice to find Chips, which is just so full of 70s cheese, and Captain Power and the Soldiers of the Future, which is like an 80s toy line that I have a soft spot for because it's post-apocalyptic and kind of depressing. So I was excited to find these and add them to my collection. The last thing I picked up was a vintage Big Jim skin diving suit from the early 70s. I'm positive I had this as a kid, and it just hit the nostalgia buttons. And for $15, you can't go wrong for a vintage 70s Big Jim outfit on the card. I probably won't, collect them all, but this is a really nice find. So, folks, I hope you've enjoyed our road trip as much as we have. The toy trek was an absolute smash. We got treated excellently everywhere we went. It really recharged my batteries, and I cannot wait for our next adventure. Thank you, as always, for checking out Toy Ventures, especially if you watched it all the way to the end. That really helps out the channel. If you are new to this, please consider hitting like and subscribe. We do stuff like this all the time. If you're not new, please consider hitting share. That would be awesome. I'll be back this week with another installment of Toy Ventures. I've got an amazing knockoff I can't wait to share. But until next time, be well and talk toys, not other people. Cheers.